name is Elsabé Dixon, and I am the artist here at Riverviews Gallery for the month of May. I do work with insects, so usually the work entails a lot of interactive engagement practices with insects and with people. I've got 4 insects represented here in this show. So the first one is silkworms. Bombys Mori is the Latin name. And I do practice a sericulture, which is raising silkworms to produce silk. I, of course, do not use the silk industriously for industry purposes, but more in an artistic way. I investigate a lot of the way insects produce different forms. For instance, we know the hexagon form belongs to bees. That's the other insect represented in this exhibition. And then I also worked with the spotted lanternfly. So this is a very interesting invasive species, and I was commissioned initially to do this project by Penn State University. I worked with one of their satellite universities, the Hive Valley, and its faculty and its students and its outlying partnering organizations, the garden clubs, all kinds of people were involved. And we produced what we call SFC. So if you think about an interruption in music, it is usually signaled by SFC. And we call the project Spotted Lanternfly Zones of Syncopation. So also indicating how in this particular insect disrupts the environment. So here we are in the silkworm section. I grew up with silkworms in South Africa. It is a long tradition. Sericulture is a long tradition maintained still today by French families, French Huguenot families. And the one thing that I learned to do as a child was to spin a bookmark for my Bible. And you basically feed your silkworm until it becomes mature enough to spin and metamorphosize, and you can train it on a little piece of cardboard to spin any shape that you would like. Any shape that's not inversed. So for instance, a star can't be used, but a circle can. So here you see some silk discs that have been spun by a collaboration of about 3 silkworms on each, spinning 3 days and 3 nights. Now the nice thing about silk is that they're starting to do a lot of different investigations, and they have found that silk does not freeze, does not get brittle when it freezes. So they're really looking into new technology using silk to really work with colder climates and laying down different nanotype technologies. This is a project that, once again, was a collaboration with 12 beekeepers down the 29th corridor of Virginia. So the 29th Highway 29 is where I located all these different beekeepers. And what we did was we created a prototype, chopped it into smaller puzzle pieces, and each piece would go into a hive, and the bees would build wax on the different pieces. And at the end of the project, it was harvested and then put together. So the Living Hive project with the 12 beekeepers started with drawings, and then moved to a prototype, and then moved towards actual beekeepers working with these forms in their hives, and then was assembled into an exhibition. It was interesting. I learned a lot about bees. I knew nothing about bees before going in and investigating how they work was very important as well. The hexagon shape became my mantra for many, many months while we were working on this, and I realized how crucial it is to any design elements that we use today. And we don't often think about it. We see it, we recognize it. The smell is an ancient smell. It's perhaps, they say, honeycomb and honey. The smell of honey is basically the oldest and most ancient memory of smell that we have. We recognize it instantaneously. So there's always a formula. With the silkworm, there's an infinity. The way they weave, it's always an infinity sign. This is a hexagon. So there are all these mathematical formulas that are embedded and that we use in design every single day, but we're just not conscious of it. So this is the Fibromyalgia Code. It goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. This is the Spotted Lanternfly project that we did at Lehigh Valley, involving many, many students and faculty and community partners, the libraries, some art centers, garden club, and each organization got to use their own colored pins, so they'll be able to recognize where they had participated in the project. And basically, spotted lanternfly wings were collected. Now, spotted lanternflies are not scarce in Pennsylvania. They came over on rocks from Korea in 2012 and are responsible for billions and billions of dollars in agricultural loss in Pennsylvania, local agricultural damage that has been done has been absolutely devastating. And these bugs have now moved into Virginia, and I thought that it would be very pertinent to see if we can raise some awareness for the fact that this insect now is in Virginia, and it does actually do great damage to vineyards, peach orchards, anything with pitted. They love sweet plants. So Tree of Heaven is one of their favorite trees. Now, Pennsylvania does recommend to cut it down. I say don't cut it down until you know there's some eggs on it, and then take it out maybe in the fall. But you'll kill many more than just trying to catch them. They're very quick. They're hoppers, and they're very clever. They see very well. They're very much aware of human beings, but they do kill their host plants very quickly. They kill them through boring a hole to the main artery of the plant, and then sucking up basically the essence of the plant, and then they secrete this very sweet spray that then allows mold to grow on the plant when they metamorphosize. And that is a process that you do not want to go through. So it's best to talk about this. This is a problem right now in Virginia, and it needs to be addressed head on. And the most effective way of addressing it is through information. And I'm hoping that people will ask about these wings when they see them in this